Welcome to Conjure Crew. My name is Mademoiselle Lynna, and this is Miss Mambo Tonya. We are going to be doing an interview with Tonya tonight, as she is a professor on, yes, ma'am, we're interviewing you tonight for the...
Oh, you were interviewing me? I was like, what questions? It threw me off.
We're interviewing you tonight. Yay! Because you're a professor on the Collegium of Arcane Studies, and we want to know all about you and what you're going to be doing. Yay. I did send a free link for everybody to join tonight. Excuse me, that is not normal. Normally, you would have to go to www.conjurekcrew.com and sign up to be on the list to receive your special link. So, without any further ado, are you ready, Tonya?
I guess so. I just realized I have a rainbow dick in the background. So
it's Pride Month every month. You can tell us about that. First, tell us about yourself, who you are. No, not that yet. Look, you're getting all excited. Here it is.
Okay, so I am Tonya, and I am a professor at the Collegium. I'm going to be teaching introduction into the voodoo. Now, I'm also an initiated, a Haitian initiated Mambo. I've been initiated, I think, 3 years now. It seems like time is just really kind of passing by really, really fast for me. So literally my foundation was root work and conjure. Even though my family's from Louisiana, voodoo wasn't openly practiced. So probably I would say that my family practices more root work, conjure work. Now, of course, in the voodoo, you do have root work and things like that. But I think tracing the ancestry, because I do have a great-grandfather who was Haitian, and my great-grandmother actually is from Spain. She's Spaniard. And they got together and then they created a big broad of people. So there's a lot of diversity in my foundation. But I will say that I didn't practice voodoo as a young person. That literally hit me probably, I want to say in my 30s, where I started to become more curious, or it started to open up, and I started to research it a little bit better. And then that began to search for the mentor. So, which brought me, I found a mentor, ended up going to New Orleans. I stalked them for a little bit, which you should do, you guys. If you're interested in a tradition, you literally should check out the mentors. You should, go to where they're at. You should spend time with them. You should go to fetes. You should see, because when you're coming into an ATR, an African tradition, you want to make sure that you are comfortable with the house, because it's a commitment. It's a lifetime commitment. So you want to be comfortable with the house and the people that you're dealing with, because there's going to be a lot of growth. Now, it's one of those things where I tell people it's not even something that you want to rush. You want to go ahead and take your time, research, spend time with people, get to know, because there's so much more when you start communicating with each other and communicating with each other at fetes and spirit. So there's a lot into it. So that was my path that led me to here. And then Shishi kind of approached me and she's like, I'm starting this thing up, this school, and I want to kind of give people this big array of things that they can do, which I thought was really, really cool. I like the idea of being able to have introductions to things and seeing if it's something that you want to pursue deeper. So when this opportunity came up, I was like, okay, what do I want to teach? What do I want to teach? And then I thought about, of course, to me, the voodoo was the right choice, because I remember having to research it, having to search for people, having to learn the Loa, and then, trying to figure out it was my path towards initiation. And it was a long journey. So I'm thinking, if I can give clarity to people who really want to open that up, then this would be the perfect platform. And then that kind of led to here, where we're at.
So, speaking of initiation and all that stuff, and I understand you talking about going through the journey, stalking your mentor, stalking many mentors, and then, not just one. but stalking many mentors until you find the right one, going to Haiti, getting initiated. What was that like for you? Was that easy for you?
Ooh, no. Okay, so we all know that spiritual journeys are not easy. I mean, we've seen the meme where it's like somebody that is literally at the beginning of a spiritual journey, and then when they're in the midst of it and their hair is all over their head and they look like they're losing their mind, because that's what it is. It's a breakdown. When you make a decision to initiate, and it's not something that you just wake up one day and go, oh, I want to be a priest or a priestess. It doesn't matter if you're in a coven or you're in, you know, a group. A lot of times you don't just wake up and go, oh, I want to be high priestess. Because you know that there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. Spirit has to call you to that path. I feel like if you feel like you're pushing it, that could be ego driven. Oh, I want to be this because of a title. And there's a lot of people that do that. Oh, I just want to be the head, you know, bitch in charge, or the bit. Should I say that? Well, I'm gonna be me.
Say that.
Yeah. You got to think, is this really what spirit wants? Not versus what I want. So that was one of the things too. When I initially talked to my papa, Hoodoo Sin Moise, and I was like, oh, I'm interested in the voodoo. I want to learn, you know, I want to study under you. And I was prepared to go in as an onsi. Onsi is ground level. This is somebody who's coming in. They're learning the lawa. They're learning things about the service. You're at the stage where you're literally like coming in green, which is really what I felt like I was doing. Even though I had kind of researched the law, was working with them a little bit, I still felt green. It wasn't until that I think we had a conversation and he goes, okay, you're going to Haiti, but you're going to go in as Supuin, which is a junior priestess. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I feel like, you know, I got to do some more things. I got to, you know, get some more things in line. But he was like, the spirits are ready for you. They're calling you. So it's like, oh, okay. Well, what do you do with that? When you're on a spiritual journey and you get called, you have free will with it, which means that if you tell the spirits, no, I'm not ready for it right now, it doesn't mean that you can't ever do it again. But it's one of those things where you kind of get in your head, if they're ready for me, maybe I should be ready for this.
Right.
So you go in and you start the journey and you realize, you know, at the beginning of it, man, maybe I ain't ready. Because initiation is literally the beginning. It's a start. It you know, you're learning things, you're opening yourself up to spirit, and there's a lot of struggle that goes in with that. People don't understand, especially when you go into traditional houses. I know covens that have dues and things like that. I know organizations that pay because you're taking care of a family. Right. You know, you're getting supplies, you're building things up with these people because they're your family. You know, ATRs are not different. There's money that goes into initiations because there's herbs that need to be bought. There's supplies that need to be bought. There's people that need to be paid because there's ceremonies. So when you look at it, you're thinking, okay, you know, they're going to take me to Haiti, third world country. Things probably going to be cheap. You know, it may not be that much. The connection with spirit is what's important. Well, you start calculating. You got to get your plane ticket. You got to learn lessons. You got to buy your supplies. The Oolongs and Mambos who do the ceremony have to be paid. And you literally look up and you're in the thousands of dollars.
You even had to learn another language.
Well, that too, because I'm still struggling with that. I still struggle with the Creole. But I think it's one of those things where I literally had, I think it was 5 months to come up with thousands of dollars. And I was working one job, I picked up another job, then I picked up another job, then I finally hit a fourth job. Now you're doing all this and trying to pick up a language, trying to get your supplies, trying to prepare yourself, and it was overwhelming. It's a big thing. Initiation is a rite of passage. It's not meant to be easy. I think that's why sometimes you get people that get upset when people kind of self-initiate themselves, like, oh, I'm just going to call myself Mambo, booty shaker, or whatever.
Right.
You're like, okay.
Because if I remember correctly, and I hope I'm not putting too much business out on the street, but even before your initiation, it's like a total mind fuck. It's like, should I do this? Should I do that? Oh my God, how am I going to do
Oh
this?
yeah.
I mean,
I really,
all over the place. It's not an easy decision at all.
you literally are, you're breaking down because this is a big commitment. This is to me like a wedding.
Yeah,
Am I marrying the right person?
lifetime.
You know, I'm fixing to make a commitment to something that is literally going to be my whole life. It's going to affect my family. It's going to affect my friends. You know, is it something that I feel like I can do? Learning voodoo, and I think people get the misconception, oh, the evil part of it, and oh, the Hollywood stuff of it. But literally, you're coming in, and as a priestess, you're a healer. So there's a lot of responsibility that comes in with that people, you know, don't think about sometimes. And this has been one of the hardest years where as a priestess, I feel like I'm earning the title now, because it's been a hard year of going to people, doing spiritual baths, praying for them, dropping off food, collecting money, a lot of things that I didn't think about at the beginning. It wasn't on my radar. But it is a mind fuck, because there's this thing of, am I worthy? Am I ready? And then you're battling back and forth, why the spirit choose me. There's a lot of introspection that goes with any tradition that you're thinking of becoming a part of, because you want to go on giving your best. And I think that was probably my fear. It's like, am I ready for this? Am I really in a position where I've healed enough, where I'm strong enough in case maybe people need me? And I didn't feel it. And you know, because I was calling you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had several people that I was crying on their shoulders. You know, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I want to do it. The initial stress was working 4 jobs to even come up with the money. And I think what happens is spirit tests you. How bad do you want this?
Right.
And there were so many times where I would lay in bed at night and cry and go, I'm tired. You know, I can't do anymore. I can't work anymore. I can't give anymore. And I literally would go to my ancestor altar and lay and cry and say, if it's not the right time, take it away. Take it away from me. And there were days where I wanted them to. But, you know, they were like, no, we're going to push this through. This is the journey. So you're going to do the work. You're going to struggle. You're going to cry. And you're going to put your big girl panties on. And you're going to get on that plane to go to Haiti and do what the hell you got to do. Well, and I ain't going to lie. When I got on that plane to Haiti, whoo, Lord, I was broken. I thought I was out of my mind. I was exhausted. I was tired. I felt broke. I mean, I literally took things. I didn't pay bills for months because I was using the money to get to Haiti. So I was like, literally, what is that?
Robin
Paul to pay Peter?
Mm-hmm.
I was in that energy. So I'm sitting up there thinking, I went all in. I mean, I went for broke, not even knowing what the expectation was going to be. So I will say, you guys, and I'm not saying this to dissuade any of you or talk you out of it. Spiritual journeys are personal. They are what defines you as a person, which means that not every journey is going to be exactly the same. What was hard for me may not be hard for you. What I struggled with, you may not struggle with. What was easy for me may be the thing that kind of does you in. You have to kind of go into things without expectations. I found that was the easiest way. I got the money. I was tired. I did the struggle, and I went to Haiti not knowing what to expect. And I don't think I would change it if I had to do it over.
No, because as a mother, and you know this as well, one of the things that we teach our kids is you respect things that you have to work for.
Oh, absolutely.
You're giving something for free, say these internet people, you know what I'm saying? You may not respect it as much. Respect the tradition, respect the religion, and do service and do the things you're supposed to do. Because I know you don't care who's at your house, you do service.
Oh, my spirits come first. My spirits come first. I mean, that would be like marrying somebody, and then, you know, I'm going to put my husband on the corner, and I'm going to take care of y'all first.
Yeah.
You know,
let's go to Vegas. And you're like, all right, you're all packing. He's like, where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm going out with Lynna. Don't worry about it.
No, you make a commitment to spirit, you know, so if I have an event that comes up, I may or may not be able to go.
Right.
Depending on if I need to do service. If I have people at my house, you know, and you know, I've left you at the table several times and was running around like a chicken, getting coffee and cooking food and, you know, doing what I needed to do.
I remember that. I'm like, what is she doing? And your daughter's like, she's doing service. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I remember one time Butter came over and he was like, we were going out to eat, and I was like, oh, I got to do service, so you got to sit on the couch while I take care of my spirits. And, you know, that day I was dancing for him and singing for him. So it's like, this is what you're going to see, but it's the commitment.
Right. Exactly.
It's the commitment. I take care of them. They take care of me. So I can't expect for them to do things for me that I'm not willing to do. They do a lot in my life. They've opened a lot of doors. They've given me a lot of peace of mind. They've given me a lot of clarity. And I love them for that. That's, to me, family. And just because I don't see them in the physical doesn't make it any less. I would treat them the same way I would treat you. I think the thing with commitment, and that's why a lot of people that want to learn about, you know, any type of ATR, voodoo, Ifa, Palo, Santeria, whatever you want to go into, you have to realize that for a lot of people, this is not a joke. This is not costumes. You don't put outfits on and shake things because you're trying to impress people. This is literally your way of life. It would be like, I was raised Catholic. It would be like a priest. Every Sunday he does service. He puts on his robe. He puts on what he's supposed to do, and he serves God. He gives that message out. Service to me is the same way. I take care of my spirits. They take care of me. So I will say, when it comes to making a connection, you have to be in the right state of mind to understand that this is something that you're gonna do. It's not a fad. I always joke with people because you get especially now, everybody wants to be witches. Everybody wants to be, you know, the voodoo priestess or the whatever. If they started burning our asses, how many people would still rep that tradition? Right. That's how you know it's real. How many people would sit up there and sacrifice because this is what they committed to? So it's not something you take off. I'm very open about my spiritual journey, my religious connection with everybody, so that when you get to know me, you already know. Exactly. And it's non-negotiable. Oh, Shishi just says she's here, so she's coming on. Yeah, I was wondering which name was hers on here. I don't see her name on here yet. But I think when you literally are learning a tradition, initiation is something that eventually comes. I don't think it should be the target. There are a lot of people that initiate because they want the title. You know, they're building a brand, or they have products, and they, you know, Ugan so-and-so is going to sound good on that. Tata so-and-so is going to sound good on that. Babalao, you know, whatever is going to sound good to push this product. One thing about spirit, you kind of have to understand, they don't play. They don't, you can try to fake the funk with other people, but you can't fake the funk with them. Right. So if you're getting into something because you want to use the spirit to up your credibility or put you out there, it's not something that you want to join a tradition with. I mean, literally, you can build a brand and make up a name and do it that way. But when you connect with Lawa and Orisha, you dealing with spirits that don't play. They will spank your ass. That, you know, and I'm pretty sure other deities will do the same thing too. Oh, absolutely. So now that the headmistress is here,
Hi guys, sorry, I'm at my dad's place. We just got here. He turned 60 today.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, we drove down.
That's what I told her. I said you might be traveling, and that's why you were running late.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god! And I touched a snake for the first time today.
Girl, better you than me.
My dad got a picture of it, and my brother-in-law was holding it, but I touched it and it was wrapped around my arm, like the tail part, but she had the head. So yeah, I did it.
I'm proud of you. I'm like better you than me. I'm proud of you. Absolutely.
So what are we talking about today? I'm sorry for being tardy.
Lynna threw me under the bus and said we're interviewing you today, and I was like, what?
What, you interviewed me last week?
No, we're interviewing Tonya.
Oh, Tonya.
Yeah, so I didn't know. So I'm just sitting up here like, oh, okay, let's do it.
So, right. Classes start tentatively in January. Do you have a breakdown of what you're going to be teaching in your class, like an outline, a syllabus?
With the Collegium, the first thing that we're going to kind of do is get to know the Loa. You have to understand the foundation and the history of any practice or tradition or religion. You can't just jump in. Some people want to just jump in at Z. I want to hex people and learn how to kill people and call the spirits to do this and that. No, you got to develop a relationship. And to develop a relationship, you have to learn who they are, what they do, and how to make connections with them. So we're going to start off with who are the Loa? Who is Banje? What is the voodoo? What makes it up? And then we kind of go into, once we learn the Loa, then we look into making connections with them. How do we get closer? How do we build relationships with them? And then we get into the works. Because here's the thing. In the voodoo and traditions, now, New Orleans voodoo is literally a combination of plantation voodoo and hoodoo, which means you don't have to be initiated into it. A lot of people that get into that follow Marie Laveau. And I know a lot of people absolutely know who she is. There are traditions there that work with the Loa that you don't have to be initiated because you're coming in and you're literally working from a root worker or conjure worker, because it's a melting pot. It's a lot of diversity. In New Orleans voodoo, you kind of get in where you fit in with it. Mm-hmm. You go into like Haitian voodoo, Dominican voodoo, 21 divisions, African voodoo, those are religions. There's structure. There's reglement. There are things that you have to follow. There's certain ways that things have to be done. We don't get to deviate a lot with that. So you have to understand, when you come in as a voodoo sant, which is somebody who's learning voodoo, you're not going to be given the privileges of doing a lot of things with the Loa, because there's certain Loa that will not work with you. Right. Because you haven't learned and built up that reputation. That's why when people I see on groups and it's like, oh, you can work with so-and-so, you don't have to be initiated. And I'm like, you can try to work with it if you want to. Right. You might get smacked. Now it's almost, and somebody made this analogy, and I think it was Mambo T. She said, how would you like it if somebody walked into your house uninvited, sat at your kitchen table and looked at you and said, feed me? You don't know them, but you want them to give you something. You want them to take care of you. A lot of people feel like they can do that with voodoo. You can't. And really, you can't do it with any deity. You can't. There's a respect level. So in the Collegium, we're going to kind of go to the foundation. We're going to build up with the history. We're going to get to know them, the connections. We're going to learn a few works that you can do. Eventually, what I want the Collegium, my part, to do is to prepare you to initiate. Whether you go in and just get your head made and you're coming in as an unsi, whether you want to move to Supuen, or whether you decide that you want to be a high priestess, which is also Gwe. Now, it still depends on if you're called. Not everybody that practices voodoo is called to be a priest or a priestess. So a lot of people don't realize you don't have to initiate. Most people just want the title. I want to be called that. Well, like I said, with that comes a lot of responsibility. So if you want to serve the spirits, we definitely, through the Collegium, are going to learn what spirits you can serve as a non-priest or priestess, what works you can do with them, and then we're going to build up on it. And then at some point when you do get initiated, then maybe we go a little bit deeper into things that you can connect with. People don't understand, and it goes with a lot of different religions, spiritualities, or practices. Not everything is for everybody. Not everybody has access to knowledge. There's sacrifices and things that have to be done before you get to that level. I'm not going to tell you things that you haven't worked for. And strictly because I had to work for it, I'm going to give it to you. Right. No. You know, if you're going to roll through some dirt and sweat and cry and bleed, then come talk to me. When you reach that level, then we on the same wavelength. Yes. Yes. But if you're going to sit up there and pop bubble gum and drink, you know, some Dr. Pepper and tell me that, you know, you want to learn how to hex and curse somebody, no, ain't happening.
I think, you know, going back to that, what is something that you want to kind of lay to rest? Like, what are some of the stereotypes that you want to lay to rest, you know, through teaching this at the Collegium?
I think the first thing, and probably the main thing, is voodoo. There's so many different ways and traditions and lineages that are very beautiful. They're connected to community, they're connected to nature, they're connected to healing, they're connected to growth, getting past adversity. People don't realize ATRs were built on adversity. These were people who were learning how to survive, and they were being blessed because they were working with spirits and making these connections. And then the slave trade came, and these people were ripped away from their community, their tribes, their families. And so the traditions that they brought with them were brought with them to help elevate and make us grow, to keep us strong. Hollywood doesn't embrace that aspect of it because they don't want Black people to know that they have that type of power, that these traditions are this is blood ties for a lot of us, that we can do this. Hollywood came in and said, you know what, we're going to put Lisa Bonet on the bed and make her topless and put a chicken and make it bleed all over while she's fucking some guy. And that's voodoo. Or we got the voodoo movies with we turning people into mummies, you know, we're making slaves out of them. Voodoo is not evil. Now, with any tradition, Christianity, whatever religion practice that you have, you can be dark, you can be light. You can be a left-handed worker, which means that, you know, I want to do some shadow work. I want to get in some stuff that, you know, does that. But their original connection with voodoo is not that at all. It's actually a very beautiful religion. It's built on serving with each other in a community to uplift. If you've ever been to a fete, and if you haven't, you need to go, because it's going to give you a true understanding of the community of voodoo. When I connect with a family that is not biological, but we're connected through blood. We at a voodoo fete, the drums are playing, we laughing with each other, we're loving with each other, we're calling down the spirit together because we're using our energy and our power, and in that moment, we are one. And we're doing it to elevate, and it's a very beautiful thing. You don't see the fighting, you don't see people sitting up there trying to cause drama, because we know why we're there. There's the beauty in it. People tend to only want the negative aspects on it. You see these memes all the time. Oh, I'm gonna do voodoo on you. Or, oh, I'm gonna, you know, hex you with the voodoo or whatever. So you get that bad image, but it's not about that.
It's about the connection.
It's about the connection with spirit. When you look at voodoo, Banje is the god. He's called a good god. And he's a universal God. Whatever tradition that you go in, there's always a higher power. Whether you believe in the religious aspect of it or not, there's always a higher energy. That's what we feed on. There's a collective. So it doesn't matter what you practice, there is a collective energy. Now, when you go into the Loa are like, people say, oh, you worship the gods and things like that. They're not gods. They aren't. They would be equated to angels. So what happens is Bonjay is so busy because, you know, there's chaos in the world. He don't have time, you know, for Tanya to be like, oh my God, I broke up with my man. Bonjay, I need you to come help me. Please come down here. You know, forget about the people starving in the country. Forget about the people dying in wars. I need you to come take care of this. Bonjay's like, look, girl, get a grip. I ain't got time to do all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send my Loa down to help you, to help give you understanding, to open roads for you. But in return for that, I want you to take care of them. And when you develop that relationship, it really becomes like family. There's no, oh, I'm going to use you because I want to hex this person, because I have been told no by my Loa. They have their own energy, their own mind. They don't blindly follow you. You can't command them. You can't make them do things that you want them to do. So when you see in the voodoo things where, you know, somebody is shaking the thing and the Loa is supposed to come and kill people, no, it don't quite work like that. I've had times where I've gotten really emotional and been like, okay, Ogu, I need you to kill that bitch. That bitch don't got on my last nerve. I want her out. I want her gone. And he'll look at me and go, child, go sit your ass down in the corner somewhere. We ain't doing it. We ain't doing it. I don't care what you put on this altar. We ain't doing it. And I have to respect that. Now, if there's something that he feels like I need, 100% I get it. If he feels like I'm being attacked, 100% he handles it. But there's moments of clarity that he has as a spirit that I don't. And even with your ancestors. You know, so I think the biggest thing that I get really upset with is that people think, oh, it's evil. The next thing is I think people feel entitled to it. You know, I can do this because I can do this because I'm Black. I can do this because you know, my family is from Haiti. There's blood ties for sure. But I don't think you ever take for granted the connection with spirit. You're always respectful when you go in. Anytime you come in and you're telling spirit what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and you're exploiting them, then you're not doing it for the right reason. That's ego driven. You don't need to parade your spirits online or whatever. A lot of you never see my altars unless I have something that they are like, show this. Mm-hmm. But other than that, you don't see them behind me. None of this is altars. None of this. These are gifts that people have given me. But I think a lot of times I get upset, especially with, what was that young girl where they were like, oh, Papa Legba killed her and blah, and she was white and all that. No, and that's false information. And there's so much false information out there. You're not going to learn about the voodoo on Google. You're not going to learn about it on YouTube. Trust me. Societies and lineages show you what they want you to see, but they don't show you everything. They don't. And I think people need to realize that you can't mix and match it either. You know, oh, I'm gonna use Hecate and Papa Legba. Well, when they start dating,
right?
How you get to that match?
Not even the same pantheon.
Yeah. So how you see it on people's altars and they're proud of it. Oh, I'm gonna put this out there. And I'm like, oh, there's so much wrong with that. But you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and get spanked.
I think sometimes, go ahead, sorry.
Sometimes you have to let people figure that out.
I think, honestly, listening, you know, to that, what you said, some people, when they do that, you can tell that it doesn't work because their house and their life is in chaos. You cannot mix some pantheons. You just can't mix. Like, you cannot mix the Celtic with the African. You cannot do it. They're combative with each other.
Well, I mean, even with Orisha and Loa, they're not the same spirits. You have La Sarin, you have Yemaya. Mm-hmm. They are water spirits, but they're not the same person. So you'll have people that will have them on the same altar and just make it like this mermaid, beautiful mermaid thing. And it's like, yeah, but I get where you're going with it. But no, they're two different energies. I'll tell you a quick story. And it was one of the things that really kind of opened me up to where your spirits they think for themselves and they have their energy. I was looking for a statue for Ogu. Now, Ogu, he's red. His colors are red and blue. He's a Loa. So I went somewhere and I was talking to this lady and I'm like, I want a statue for Ogu. He wants a statue. She sold me a statue of an Ogun. And I was like, my spirit said no. But I was like, the lady was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. They're cousins. They'll be okay. And I was like, yeah, but cousins don't mean the same thing. So against my better judgment, I bought it. Now, the statue had on a green skirt and he had a green shield. And I was like, okay, but, you know, he's an Ogun. Maybe Ogu will, you know, accept it. Lord have mercy. That statue cost me $100. So I'm in the kitchen. I take it out the box. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and clean it and put my Florida water and, you know, service day, I'm going to give it to him. Girl, I didn't even have that thing out the box 10 minutes. It slipped out my hand and broke. So I was like, oh my God, $100 statue. What the hell, Tonya? So I went to the dollar store and got some super glue. I'm like, you know, I'm so sorry. It slipped out my hand. I'm going to put them back together. I'm going to put them on the altar. Well, goddamn, I glued that sucker back together, waited 2 days, was walking to the altar. It slipped out my hand again and broke. So I was talking to someone and they were like, well, you know, Ogu is not going to accept that. This man is not the right man. His colors are not the right colors. And I was like, I know. I tried it. And he was like, yeah, you're going to bite that $100 you just spent because that's not who I am. That's not what I want. And he refused to even let me get near the altar with it. So when people connect with spirits and deities that don't connect with the Loa or the Orisha or the deity that you're working with, you are going to be in chaos. Even because if you force it, what you're doing is you're angering that spirit and you're telling them you're going to take what I give you. And they're like, no, I'm not. I'm going to fuck your life up until you get it right. And that's what happens. So it was an expensive lesson to learn, but I learned it.
Sorry, I'm not trying to go off subject. Lynna, someone is trying to get into the live, into this Zoom meeting, but it says expired webinar. Should I send them the link you sent me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see, forward this to, okay. There we go. So with that being said then, and you know, you explaining that the Loa are actually considered angels, why is it that people have such a hard time not accepting, do you think, that these spirits are not deities or not gods?
I think we live in a time where people want to worship something because it makes sense to them. If you grow up in particular churches, and you develop a relationship with Jesus, we know that we're supposed to act a certain way towards Jesus. You know, we always get where, oh God, I need you, you know, come through. I need you to fix this problem. And so we grow up understanding that maybe there's worship. We even call it worship. We call it praise worship and everything like that. So a lot of times when people get with deities or Loa or Orisha, they tend to feel like, well, I need to worship you. Here's the thing. This is a relationship, which means that you're not just blindly following spirit because you're going to be tested. So I think there comes a point where you do offerings, but you're doing offerings because you're taking care of that spirit. That is a thank you. That is, I appreciate you, but I'm not bowing down to worship you. Because with any deity that you work with, if you sit up there and you literally allow that deity to overtake you, that's not a good position to be in. Even with the angels, you know, I have my moments, and I've been working with Archangel Michael since I was a teenager. We have arguments. And people are like, oh, that's, you know, what is the sacrilegious? You can't do that with an angel. And I'm like, no, I have every right to question what that spirit is doing because I have a relationship. I'm not following blindly. And I think people have to come out of that where they think that you're supposed to do that, because you can get hurt that way. You'll have spirits like Freda. Freda, hey babe. Freda is a Loa, and she loves the finer things. She loves fine chocolate. She loves jewelry. She loves champagne. Thank you, babe. Oh, I forgot to send you the money, but I'll send you the money. But she likes the finer things. So when I first started working with her, I was in the store and there was this pink waterfall. I don't even like pink. I don't like the color. And I heard her say, I want that. So I was kind of like, what am I going to do with a pink waterfall? Where am I going to put it? And then I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to get the waterfall. I don't like it. I don't know where I would put it. So I walked to the checkup and she was like demanding it. I want the waterfall, Tonya. So I was like, what? Is she, what? You know, and literally I know I was looking crazy because my eyes, my expression on my face was like, I'm having an argument with a spirit. So I got up there and I was like, you know what? I do need something on our altar. I'll go ahead and get the pink waterfall. Big mistake. Because she realized, okay, I can do this and get what I want. Now, I want her to be happy, but it has to be within my means and it has to work for me too. So we had to kind of have a talk. You know, I want you to have good perfume. I want you to have the finer things, but my bank account does not supply this. So I need you to go ahead and open up my roads so that I can bring this money in. And then with this money that I bring in, I can take care of you and give you what you need. And she did that. She sent me opportunities. She sent me clients to open up the road. And then I was like, well, you know what? Now I'm gonna go buy you that big bottle of perfume that you want because I appreciate you. Not I worship you, but as a thank you because I appreciate you. But you will have certain spirits that will try you. I've seen people on there where they say, oh, the spirit told me to hurt this person or kill the person. Why would you do that? You've lost control. The spirit has overtaken you. So you got to be really careful. There's a difference between service and worship.
Absolutely.
Were you going to ask a question? I want to ask the question of what are you excited about teaching? I mean, what are you excited about with the Collegium?
Okay, I'm excited about you guys learning the Loa. When people talk about the voodoo, they only talk about it as a whole. You know, everything is the negative connotation of it. You know, I'm going to voodoo you. I'm going to fix you with the voodoo. I'm going to do this with the voodoo. But who is the voodoo? Who are they? So I'm excited about saying, look, Freda's beautiful. She's a mulatto. You know, she likes men a lot more than she likes women. There's a whole story behind that. But there's so many elements to her that make the story interesting and beautiful. And if you're going to work with her, you need to understand what she expects, what she can do, and what the relationship with her will be like. Dantor is her sister, completely opposite. Dantor is a dark-skinned woman. She's a single parent. So a lot of people that, you know, it's almost like even with the Orisha, with Oshun and Yemaya, people have these conceived notions of what these spirits are, what these deities are, but do you really know them? Do you know what they like to eat other than their color is yellow or their color is red, or Beyonce is, you know, Oshun and she wears a crown? We're looking at the surface when we look at what is presented in the media, but there's stories about these Loa and Orisha that connects with you. Dantor is a single parent. Women that are struggling with their children by themselves, she would be really good to work with because she looks after you. She even likes gay people. So a lot of people that are gay, she's like, look, I got you, boo. I'm gonna watch your back. So a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that you can go to her and ask for help that way. There's so many personalities that come with the Loa that I want people to really know. Instead of saying as a collective, oh, this is the voodoo and they're gonna fuck you up. No, there's so much more positive to it. There's so much positive to it. But when you become a voodoo saint where you're learning about them and you're making connections and you're setting up altars, there's a relationship that's being built. It's almost like with Santa Muerte. Santa Muerte, there's a difference between being a devotee and, you know, just burning a candle to her. Her children, she will kill for them. So if you fuck with somebody that has a big shrine to her and it's a devotee, there's a whole different level of her because that is her kids. Versus somebody that goes to the dollar store and picks up a candle and is like, I'm gonna fuck you up, or you might get fucked up because you don't have that type of relationship. So people need to understand who these spirits are, where their loyalties are, how the connection is. And I'm really excited because I didn't going into it. I was like a lot of people, oh, this looks cute. This is who I want to work with because I feel like I relate to her and we could be besties and all that stuff like that. But she didn't want to be no bestie. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now that I understand you and know that we ain't cool like that, now I got to figure out how to develop a relationship because they don't just take you in. There's a relationship that has to come about and you have to know how to respectively approach them, work with them, service them, you know, give them service. So that I'm excited about.
I like how you're excited. That's one of the reasons I'm very excited about you teaching at the Collegium, because this passion of what you do is coming out. It comes out even when talking to you about it now. You're excited about it and your eyes are like lighting up and I'm like, okay, ma'am, look at you.
I think anytime that you develop or you're looking for a practice or a journey, if it doesn't set your soul on fire, if it does not make you happy, if it does not make you want to sing and dance with your spirits, if it doesn't make you want to buy them nice things and treat them well, you know, my spirits don't even get tap water. They get bottled water. Why I don't give them shit that I wouldn't do. You know, they to me, it's such a connection that should set you on fire. You should be excited about it. You should be excited about the growth. People that are kind of going into traditions, and then, you know, well, I'll serve you today, but I might not fuck with you tomorrow. That's not your journey. That's not your journey. That may be a fad. It may be cute for right now. Maybe you're just getting in on it because everybody's doing it. When you really connect with your spirits, when your ancestors really put you on the road that you're supposed to walk, it sets you on fire. You think about it. You dream about it. You work towards it. You connect with it. It's a completely different thing. If you're not on fire like that, you're doing the wrong shit. You're doing the wrong shit, whatever it is.
That's what I feel like, you know, having stepped off the path of Christianity and going to witchcraft, I felt like, oh, you know, it was freeing and I was excited about it. And so that's what I think also, you know, as a, you know, when you are someone looking for a teacher, a mentor, that's what you want. And that's why I said, you know, when we put the Collegium together, I observed people, just like Lynna. Her face lights up when she talks about tarot cards. You can sit there and talk tarot cards with Lynna for your whole life and still not be done. Because she has so many other, you know, aspects that she's excited about sharing, and that's important. And so, like, having put this together, and, you know, you were the first one I asked, I'm like, I got an idea. Let's see how it works. You know, I wanted that passion to come out, because if you are... I have no idea. I'm in my dad's office. I'm like, something's ringing. I wasn't sure whether to run or whether to stay. You know, he has a nice little office, 2 computers. My dad's ridiculous, but
I feel it is nice.
I'm looking, I'm like, Dad, because he has his Apple over here. He owns his own photography business, and he's retired military, so he's ROTC teacher. And I'm like,
that's cool, though.
I'm like, Daddy. You know, I'm proud of him, though. I am proud of my dad. But, you know, when you are stepping into something you're learning, you want to learn from people who are excited about what they do. Because and that's why I tell people, you can tell the people who are in it for money, and you can tell the people who are actually in it because they love it. And this is what I mean by that. And some people are like, well, you can love it and make the money. There's still a difference, because a lot of people who love it don't make all the money.
Right, because I know, like, well, and I'm not going to bump in on, well, even Tonya did it. When Tonya first started doing work, she just did it out of the kindness of her heart, because it's something that she loved to do, and because she does have a big heart. And I find that with a lot of people, when they really love something, it's like they almost feel guilty for charging. I did.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but here's the thing that kind of gets you out of that. Your spirits need things, which means that you have to at some point make a living. Now, you very rarely see rich spiritual workers. And it is because there's a lot of things that I do that people don't even, that I don't get charged. I don't charge for it. I don't pay for it because it's something that I'm led to do. I feel like there has to be a balance with it though, because I see some spiritual workers that charge outrageous, or spiritual teachers that charge outrageous amounts of money, but it becomes like a cash cow thing. I'm just going to get you in because I want your check. There are a lot of people who've been initiated and spent thousands of dollars, and then they're not even with their mentor 3 months later because the person is not teaching. They had no intention of teaching. They just wanted that check. That's why it's important to spend time with people and see how they connect with their spirits. There's a difference between, like I said at the beginning, utilizing spirits to build a brand versus actually making a commitment.
Right.
And spirit knows, they know
your teacher.
Yeah, you know, real recognizes real. And just because you see somebody elevating and getting money with practices doesn't mean they're going to keep it. There are a lot of people that grow really fast and spirit will allow it. They're like, oh yeah, you making the money, and they're waiting to see how much you're going to put back into them. And some people don't do it. They don't, you know, they're like, no, I don't notice you anymore. And you'll see those same people that will lose everything.
Quickly.
Spirit gave them an opportunity. It's not that they're going to take it away or snatch it away quickly. They gave you an opportunity to connect and you didn't do it. So you got to be really careful. You know, I'm not going to ever knock anybody making a living because we got to eat, we got to pay bills, and our spirits have to be taken care of. But I do feel like there's sometimes a balance of doing what you love and knowing when it's called for you to be able to help people that don't have it. I'm never going to turn somebody down because they can't afford the work that I need to do. Mm-hmm. If spirit tells me to do the work, I don't give a shit if I get paid or not. Spirit is saying this is what you're going to do. And as a priestess, I will comply.
Oh, exactly.
It also comes back to you. Like, it comes back to you in different ways.
It always comes back to me. That's why, you know, and I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about jealous people and people working against workers in the community because they're trying to stop money and people trying to stop your money and all that. Here's the thing. You can try to fuck over my money. You can try to fuck over my business. You can try to fuck over me. I take care of my spirits goddamn well. Goddamn, if you feel like you can take care of my spirits better and you can fuck my shit up, then come on in and do it. My spirits won't allow it. They won't allow it. I've heard so many times, oh, so-and-so's working against you. They've hired people to work against you to take your money. And I'm looking at this person. I don't see you elevating. And you know why you're not elevating? Because your spirits ain't taking care of you because you ain't taking care of your spirits. On the other hand, my spirits are like, you know what? No, we got you. And I go with that because I know I'm on the right side of that. And I think there's no place when you deal with commitments and spirits for jealousy. What is yours comes to you in your time. But we got people that don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I want it like you want it. Well, you didn't work as hard as I worked. So no.
It's funny. That was my other thing. It's like, and I know Lynna has known you longer, but a lot of people, they don't know how I met you. I met you through a group in which you were doing tarot readings, and you got me on to doing tarot readings. And I've watched you grow from that point to where you are now. And like also, you know, watching you go through your journey, and when you had to go to Haiti.
Yeah, y'all, these two saw me have breakdowns and crying. They laughing because I literally was losing my mind.
I didn't want to expand on the whole mind fuck thing. But
I was mind fucked forward and backwards. I was
just in here like, do you really want that? You're like, I want this. I'm like,
okay. And by the way, y'all, I did get over feeling guilty because, you know, I got bills and babies.
Well, I had to get on you because you were giving a lot of your money away, and sometimes you have to get off of the physical and rely on spiritual. Whatever your practice is, there's a faith. If you don't believe in it, why the fuck are you practicing it?
Oh, I believed in it.
If you don't believe in your spirits, why are you working with them? Why do you have an altar up there? If you don't believe in your money work, your love work, whatever it is you're doing, what you doing it for?
I mean, I think that's a thing. Like, for people who weren't here, watching you go from, doing the tarot readings to like, now you are a priestess. I know that you were like, I was like, I can't go back a second time. I'm not doing it. They need to, you called it out and they were like, we're just going to skip you. I was like, because you were about to lose it over there.
No, they know I was serious. I ain't never prayed so hard in my life. I prayed to the ants on the floor. Hear me. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I was dying. I was like, oh my God.
I was like, we heard you. There was no goddamn way y'all wasn't gonna hear me because I prayed my ass. I ain't never prayed so hard in my life. I know you know.
But like looking at that, this is the thing that I think, going back to that comment, a lot of people don't know that it's work. No matter if you're going to be a voodoo sant, no matter if you're not going to initiate, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to do the work. And it's like, it's for a lot of people, a trend thing. And that drives me crazy. But, it's also when people have worked so hard to get where they are. Like, I know you worked your ass off. Like, you have, the money that you put out, the times where you're like, I don't know how that's going to work. And it worked. I've seen
you were there. Both of you were there with me. I mean, we've literally seen each other grow. We've literally seen each other grow. And I praise you guys. I uplift you guys because I know. I saw the struggle with you too. A lot of people, they get caught up on the numbers, the followers, and things like that. Here's the thing. I'm to the point, even when I started off, I had no expectations about growing channels, growing pages, or nothing like that. I'm like, I'm just going to read, and the people that need help is what I'm going to do. And that's exactly my mindset, and that's still my mindset. I see people now that have 30,000 followers. In fact, somebody said, this woman started after you and she has 30-something thousand followers and you only have 6,000 followers on your Facebook page. Like, that was a bad thing. Right. First of all, I'm blessed to have people that support me because they want to support me.
Quality over quantity.
I didn't have to buy them. I didn't have to buy a packet. What they see is what they get, and they make a choice to support my page or not. And that I appreciate. Because I feel like I'm doing something right. I'm following the path that I'm supposed to follow. People, if they rock with you, they rock with you. If they don't, they don't. And it's cool. But I don't get tripped out on the numbers because that shit is false. False love is real.
That goes back to what you were just talking about, you praying your ass off. I've seen you pray. When you pray, you don't just pray only when you need something. You pray constantly, all the time. And you pray your ass off at times when you really, really need something, but you're still doing service every day, like clockwork. I can tell you what your schedule is. Don't call between this time, and on this day, she cleaning her house and redoing everything. And you have a set schedule.
You make a commitment. And two, I made a deal with spirit, especially with protection and stuff like that. Like in the morning, before I can touch my cell phone to check Facebook or Instagram, I gotta pray.
Yeah,
that's the deal with spirit.
You don't just pray and when you need something. You
shouldn't do that though.
No, not in any religion. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
You pray all the time, and in return, you take care of your spirits all the time.
You're supposed to.
So you don't say, "Oh, God, I need a new job. Will you help me get a new job?" So you get a new job, and then you're like, "See ya." You're not like that at all. But there are a lot of people who are.
I look at prayer and also, praise, I guess, in a different way. So I think when you're praying for something to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like what I see with Tonya is like, even when she doesn't need anything, she's praising them, she's thanking them, she's coming from that place of being grateful, and that goes a long way. And that's something like, even though I may not be in the church, I learned when you're grateful for small things, those small steps, they give you bigger things. Mm-hmm. You have to start small. And a lot of people don't want to start small. And that's something that I was talking with my cousin and friends about today, because she asked the question, she's like, why does this person have priestess in front of her name? What is she priestess of? And so I asked. I went and I was like, okay, I'll ask. Let me see. And she was priestess of pretty much nothing. She hadn't been initiated into anything. There was no specific commitment from what I see. After I got the answer, and I was like, And so it was, proceeded with people put a title in front of something that they haven't exactly earned, because it sounds good, but then also they don't realize what comes with that title and how a lot of people have to work their ass off to really truly get that title. Some people are like, we're Babalao this, and I'm like, you're not Babalao anything. You haven't even gotten past this step. I'm priestess this. You're not priestess anything. You haven't even done this part. I am high priestess this. Well, high priestess what of what, Because what a lot of people don't understand is, like, as a solitary practitioner, like, I can't just put a name on top of something, because there are steps to getting that, unfortunately. And usually you're initiated or you're in a coven to get those titles, because you have to go through certain things. So so for me, because I don't do very well with rules, and people telling me how to do something, the likelihood of me having that on my name would be very slim. But I did tell someone, so I won't point it out, if they did start their own house, I would go and initiate under them should they get their own house. Then
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it, right? Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard it?
Who's she talking to?
I just want to make sure everybody heard that. Here's the deal. Titles don't give you power. You can call yourself Mambo, Booty Shaker, Babalao, Big Toe. That does not give you power. With spirit, what gives you power is service, commitment, connection, loyalty, wisdom. So I don't care who you call. I could be a Mambo right now and go into a group of other Mambos, and if I'm not on their level, if I don't have the same knowledge, if I don't have the same understanding of the lineage, it doesn't matter. They're going to respect me because I am a Mambo, but those are places where you have to earn your place. The title doesn't automatically open the door. We got a CEO of the United States that a lot of people don't respect. He has the title, but he doesn't have the proper power, because you know what? I digress. Don't let me even get on that.
So anyway, what we were saying, Mademoiselle, I am a single adult woman. Just saying. That's what it means, a single adult woman.
But
I'm not trying to be nothing that I'm not.
You can call yourself anything you want. I don't have a problem with. The only problem that I get with things like that is with initiations into certain traditions, tatas, yayas, mambos, ugans, babalaos, Indianipas. Those are people that literally bled to be called that. So that is a connection to a priesthood. But it doesn't mean that Shishi is not a priestess. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have the wisdom. She could literally go ahead and start her own coven and be a high priestess because she has the knowledge, she has the wisdom. You could do that. I think a lot of people get connected with, I'm going to call myself this because it sounds good and I'm building a brand, but you're going to be tested. When you start putting those labels on yourself, be prepared. Spirit is like, oh, you want to be a priestess? Okay. And then they put you things for me after Haiti got harder. They didn't get easier. And it's because what they're doing is they're building me up and they're making me strong. So one day when I'm a ripe old Mambo and I have godchildren, I can pass down my wisdom and watch them elevate and move up because I have something to share. But it's not going to get there if I don't work for it, if I don't earn it. So titles, they don't impress me. I'm going to respect you because you call yourself that. But at the end of the day, we got priestess and priests that are pedophiles, sexual abusers, people that take advantage of people. They have the title, but
not the correct.
They don't have the connection. They don't have the right ethics. They don't have the right connection. So people got to be really careful about that. You have a lot of people that present themselves one way, and you can go to Africa, you can go to Haiti, You can go to the Dominican Republic. You can go to Cuba, and you can buy a title. If you want to spend $10,000 to be called something, you can do it. They're going to take your money. But does that make you it? What makes you a priest or a priestess is what you do for your community, what you do for your spirits, what you do for your family.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna like expand on that, but I have a question because it just, is that a colorful ass penis candle behind you?
Yes, and she was going to talk about that towards the end. So go ahead,
That's
Tonya.
what I told Lynna. I didn't know we were interviewing, and I got a rainbow penis behind me.
I was just curious because I was like, those are definitely blue balls.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
so in the voodoo, what would you use that penis for?
I mean, honestly, you could open your roads with, to good dick. Maybe I'm having some blockages. The dick that's coming my way is not good, so I'm going to open the roads.
That's a nice size dick candle, though. Seriously.
It is a nice size dick candle. And I mean, literally, you could do some things. You could call some good energy in with this. For some people, there's a lot of different ways you could dress it. It's not so different.
They had to use a dildo mode with that.
Yeah, and I mean, really too, if you were bisexual or gay, you could use it to bring in your next lover, your next sexual partner. But I mean, even as, whatever your sexuality is, whatever you identify as, you can work it for good or bad.
Can you use that probably for like a 7-day candle?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For the different things, love up top, and then what's next? What color's next? White?
Are those those are the chakra colors, are they not?
Maybe that's what I was gonna say. Maybe you need some good dick to balance your chakra. So you got to start with the root chakra and kind of work your way to the crown.
Because I'm sitting up here, I'm like, that is because I know I have like the black, white, and red ones, but I have not seen. That must be Misty. Is that Misty Scalise's candle?
Actually, I got this at Mama Star's. Mama Star has a relative that made this, and I loved it because it has the veins and I don't know if you can see it with the ring light.
Yeah, I can see it. It's really awesome.
It is. I don't know if this guy used his own mold or whatever. If he is, peace to you. You're blessed. We like that. It was one of those things where I saw it and I was like, I got to have this. I'm like,
that's a really well-made candle, like multicolored and everything. It's well done.
Yeah.
So going back to the comment about ethics and things like that, and I know because we're interviewing also for the Collegium, but I think people need to get your wisdom so then they know why they're going to be learning from you at the Collegium. The other day, Auntie Ifa, I call her Auntie Ifa, I know many do, she was saying, do you now understand why it is not good for Babalaos to sleep with their godchildren, or the senior or lead individual does not sleep with their godchildren? Because she's like, so many do, and they take advantage of these people, and so these people end up missing the whole spirit connection because they got connected to the wrong thing.
To me, honestly, it's really simple. When you initiate into a tradition, you have a mama and a papa. These are your elders in that house. You initiate under them, which means as soon as you go through initiation, that's your daddy. That's your mama. So if you dibbling and dabbling, that's incest. You're not supposed to cross those lines. There are a lot of houses that don't even initiate married couples in together because you're brother and sister. That's incest. So a lot of people will get in these houses, and I get so many women that, oh, I met my soulmate and he's a spiritual man and he does the hoodoo, the voodoo, the whatever, and, he fucked me last night. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, and he's going to initiate me. We got two problems. First of all, he's your elder, he's your mentor. You're not supposed to cross those lines because you lose something when you do that. You start worshiping a person before a spirit, which means there's certain people that, oh, I'll do everything for this elder because I have a relationship with this person, but I'm not doing the same energy for the spirit. That's already bad, number one. Mm-hmm. And I think the whole thing about it is that the elder knows better. So I would have a problem following someone who was willing to cross that line knowing that it could be detrimental to your growth. I've seen people that have initiated and then broke up with the elder and then had to leave the house, which they lost their money, they lost their time they put into it, and they had to go to another house and start over. No. You know, my papa's gay. And I don't know if I chose him because of that. I don't want to say I did, but I could care less about his dick. I'm pretty sure he could care less about my vagina. We have a father-daughter relationship. It doesn't get crossed. There's no sexual connotation to it. And if he ever did cross the line, I would be mortified. But I think so many people are looking for mommies and daddies in these traditions that it gets complicated. You have somebody that you're crying on their shoulder. You have somebody that's teaching you and opening doors for you, and they're praying for you, and you get close. And it is a family, but people who don't have that type of relationship with their dad or their mother tend to get it kind of confused. Oh, I love you. And then it turns into, oh, I really love you. And then it turns into that, oh, I love you. And the elder allows that to happen.
They're becoming the golden calf.
Yeah, and that's not something you want. I don't have God kids, and I'd be mortified if one of them stepped out of line with me. I would, because I wouldn't be able to do it. You got to go. That ain't how we run this camp. There's reglement. There's certain ways that things have to be done. If you're gonna go into a tradition and not do it the proper way, you don't need to do it. And and it's not just men. Women, there are priestesses out there that take advantage of men. You know, I'm pregnant for my godson. How the fuck did that happen? That's not even supposed to happen. So you got to be careful with that. It's cool. You have a lot of people that end up joining houses and they fall in love because you're doing something that you love with people that you love, and sometimes it's easy for lines to get blurred. But the bottom line is, Ugon Sherwin is my brother. I don't care if he walked around this house butt naked. I'm gonna look at him like he crazy, and I'm gonna say, you need to go put some clothes on because you ain't supposed to do that. But there would be no, it would not go that way. It would feel really, and I'm pretty sure he would say the same thing about me. It just would not go that way.
That's a smart thing. Honestly, I think that's the way it should be. I think if you're going to be putting all the money that you are putting into being initiated, into being a house, into being a coven, anything like that, the last thing you want is for it to be messed up due to...
Yeah. You join a spiritual house or a family to learn, to grow in spirit, not to get fucked. You can go get fucked anywhere. Mm-hmm. But that's not why you go into a tradition. When you're called into that tradition by spirit don't tell you to have sexual relationships with your godparent. They don't. I don't care what nobody say. 3 years, they have never told me I'm supposed to give my godfather booty. I've never heard that. So people tell me that all the time, and I'm like, I don't know who you listening to. You don't got a trickster spirit in your house. You need to take a spiritual bath and cleanse, because your spirits, nah.
They're not going to tell you.
Yeah, a lot of them don't want that. They don't want that distraction. So why would they put you in a position where you're going to be distracted?
No, because things like that can break up an entire house.
Yeah. Now I have had people. I had a friend. I think it was about 4 years ago, and she invited me to a meeting with her coven where she wanted to show me her head. Was it a high priestess? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure how to address it, but I think high priestess was the proper term.
Yeah, high priestess.
And so we were in Dallas, and they had a nice little Airbnb, and they were doing a ceremony outside, and everything was cool. The people were super, super nice, and I was enjoying myself. And I'm always like to be open-minded, because I think the way you learn is by embracing other traditions. You don't stay closed off, because there are a lot of things that literally connect. So I'm sitting out there, and it was probably about, 11:45, and they started taking off their clothes. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, we gonna walk naked under the moon or something like that. And I was down for it. I mean, Dallas, you got Texas mosquitoes. I wasn't happy about it, But I'm like, you know, when in Rome, you do what the Romans do. No, it started turning into something else. And I was so confused with it because I'm like,
was it Beltane? Were you there for Beltane?
I don't know what it was, but I know they started kissing and touching each other.
What time of year was it?
Oh, Lord, Shishi.
Beltane would be like May.
Yeah. If it was in May, there are some covens that do that.
It was hot. It was outside, but nobody told me. So I'm looking at these people thinking they have lost their everlasting mind. I mean, I saw something that turned into an orgy. Mm-hmm. And so I had started undoing my pants. And then when I started seeing people groping each other and stuff, I was like, I thought we was just going to dance under the moonlight naked. I didn't know we was sticking and poking people. That was like, I mean,
see your face.
It was like, can you imagine somebody coming up and putting their thing in my booty hole while I'm dancing under the moon?
No, I wouldn't. I think if she invited you during Beltane and her coven is one of those covens that does that during Beltane, then she was remiss in not letting you know.
Oh yeah, we had a long talk. We no longer friends. That I felt that was just a little bit too much. I'm open-minded, and I would have been like, you know what, cool, I'll come hang out until 12 and let y'all do your thing.
Right.
But it and this was before I was initiated, but it was one of those things where I felt like that's family to me. That's family.
Well, so in a coven,
it's different.
It's different. Very different.
Depending on the coven.
This is also true.
And the tradition, because you have Gardnerians on one side who do take their clothes off, and you have other people that don't.
But then you also have like certain groups that do sex magic rituals, like as a whole, and they bind themselves to each other magically, which is kind of like a lot. But
and there's a difference in magic too, because you have witchcraft and then you have ceremonial witchcraft.
You have high and then you have low.
It was over my head. Everything, it was over my head. And I'm not gonna knock it. I don't think anything bad about the people at all, because I understand traditions and the way that people serve and worship. I'm cool with that. But I think even before I got initiated, I already knew I didn't want to cross that line. I don't want to have sex with Shishi and then have to worship spirit with her. If I'm going to have sex with Shishi, that's a whole different relationship to me. I just don't put it together with the religion. I don't. But I'm cool with people that is part of their thing. But in voodoo, you have people, oh, you have an orgy. Oh, Konzo is an orgy. Oh, you do this in Konzo. No, we don't. We don't. So I don't know where that came from, but I think that's why you research. That's why you talk to Mambos and Ugans, reputable ones. And when you don't understand stuff, you question it. You don't blindly go into anything that you don't understand. You know, somebody was telling me about a coven where everybody has to sleep with the high priestess. Now, I never was in the coven or met the coven, but I understood going in that if I were to join that coven, at some point, I was going to have sex with the high priestess, whether you were male or female. That's one thing when you sign up for it and you know it. Mm-hmm. So you have to research. If you don't understand what you're about to get into, then you really don't need to be doing it. You get weak-minded people that get taken advantage of like that.
That right there. I have to say, like, even me as a practitioner, if that was a rule to initiate into a coven, I wouldn't do it. Not because I'm not a sexual being, but because that's not really a rule of witchcraft. Where does it say in order to grow or fuck somebody?
Right.
It doesn't. So that is a personal rule. And I think like that's when people really have to start questioning things. But some people don't want to. They want that connection. So you have to sit down and say, okay, why? Where does this rule come from? Well, that's what we do in our coven. Okay, but why do we do that?
Yeah.
And then I have too many questions. I'm like, so how many people has this person slept with? Like, is everybody else here safe, clean? You know, I have too many questions to put myself at risk.
That would be me. That would be me, because I'd be the one with the Clorox wipes. Like, okay, you pulled out of that one. Come here, let me wipe that before we. It's just certain things that would, and I'm a germaphobe with something like that. So, It wouldn't work. It would not work for me. It would
Even
not.
the CDC came out with a report today that you should not be kissing people. That the corona can be spread but through kissing people. And if
Well, I mean, shit, if you got to wear a mask, that's common sense that you wouldn't be sticking your tongue down somebody's mouth, that you,
but,
you know.
they actually put it into the report today. The CDC did.
Oh, well, then you know what? That's minus points for common sense on that.
I know. I was like, if we can't breathe on each other, why would I kiss you?
Exactly. But I think it goes back to traditions and things like that, too. If it does not make sense to you, you have to question it. Don't just blindly follow things in. If you're not of a strong mind to think for yourself, you don't really need to initiate into anything. I see people that follow godparents blindly. Oh, they told me to do this. They told me to do that. I'm a why, what, when, what, why? You know, because you need to know that. Because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for myself. So you got to be careful. And you don't want to get into something that becomes cultish. Some people are looking for somebody to think for them. You know, no. If you're going into a priesthood or something like that, you're going into it because Spirit is saying you can think for yourself. We want to work with you, not we want to use you.
But I think once again, we go to the fact of a lot of people get mixed up with, especially voodoo, especially witchcraft, you know, which is something that we're trying to break in the Collegium, this perspective. You go in and you don't think for yourself. No, the whole point is to be able to question things because you have researched, because you do think for yourself. And so if it doesn't work for you, then you have every right to say, okay, but this may not work for me. And don't feel bad for needing to change it.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people end up in houses and they stay longer than they should because of blind loyalty. I'm going to stay here and make it work. No. It kind of goes to the same thing as a relationship. Now, I'm older. When I was younger, I maybe had more energy. Oh, I'm going to put more time into this man. I'm going to help him heal. I'm going to, you know, wait around for him to grow up so that we can grow old together. Fuck that shit. At this point, at 52, either I connect with you or I don't connect with you, period. If it don't fit for me, I'm out. I don't have time. I could be dead tomorrow. I don't have time. And I think people waste a lot of time on bullshit people and bullshit traditions that they don't click with. And you don't have to. Now, even with the voodoo, if you make a commitment to a house, you can be released from that. There's rituals and ceremonies that will go ahead and say, okay, you know, it's not working for me. It doesn't mean you're going to lose your spirits. People will tell you that. When your spirits walk with you, they walk with you, just like your ancestors. Nobody's going to come and take my grandma away from me because there's a problem. She's going to always be with me. My blood is always going to be with me. If I made a blood covenant to you, you're always going to be with me. But that doesn't mean that I have to put myself in a toxic environment where I'm being taken advantage of or manipulated. That's not why you signed up. You signed up for your spirits to develop a connection. You have to remember why you join houses, why you join covens. It's not about the fame, the glamour, and stuff like that. That has no place in it. If spirit blesses you with stuff like that, that's a reward. But that shouldn't be the deciding factor. I see people that, I got to go in this house because, you know, they own and popping.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? I just don't get it. You know, Mambo Sandy does a lot of lives where she's kind of like, it's not about, you know, the lives. It's not about putting yourself out there. There's two separate things with that. When you look at my lives, you're looking at Divinity Diva Tarot. You're looking at a tarot reader who happens to be a Mambo. I'm not pushing my religion on you. I'm not pushing my beliefs on you. I'm sharing a gift with you. So that's a different aspect of me, but I'm building a brand with Divinity Diva Tarot. My spirits bless me. They send people my way, but my Divinity Diva Tarot doesn't take the place of my spiritual house or my community here, my altars. If I want to do service, I'll shut down Divinity Diva Tarot in a heartbeat. I can't do it tonight. I got stuff to do. So it's not about, if you're looking for a quick track to, you know, some type of spiritual fame or whatever, and things like that. Most of the time with healers, you're not going to get it. True healers, you're not going to see it. Mother Teresa was amazing. She was not put in the limelight because she searched for the limelight. She was put in the limelight because she did amazing things. She followed her spirit. She followed her path. She believed in her fate. And because of that, she was elevated. People knew who she was. People came to her, but it was because of the spirit, the energy, not because she wanted to be on TV. She was a very simple woman. If you ever read about her, she didn't want any of that. She was oblivious to it. She talked when she needed to talk, but her main thing was healing and helping people. That is the role of a spiritual person, a priest or a priestess. Even if you're eclectic, if that is your role, that's what you are. And spirit may bless you and bring you people in, but that's not your end game. It really isn't. You know, the hair wraps and the dangling earrings, all that stuff, I tell people all the time, that's aesthetics. But I'm a mambo in jeans and t-shirt.
No matter what Lisa was saying, it can be a lot of chaos in the houses that are popping. I mean, I know I've read for somebody and I was like, you know, you're supposed to be in this house, and it was a very bougie house, but then chaos started happening in that house, and it was like the spirits were pulling that person away and said, okay, so you can't be in that house anymore. And so what had turned out is that, yeah, they brought in some new people perhaps, but there was some tension that was building up that their guides were like, well, you're not supposed to be there anymore. Before, it had been fine, but now we see some drama here that doesn't need to be here, so we're not going to put you there anymore. You won't learn what you're supposed to learn. And I noticed, you know, just like what you say, some people go in houses and it seems fine, and then new people come in, and then there's chaos and drama, and you're just like, and they're not as happy in a house as they were before.
I think when you are considering God kids, no matter what your practice is, you have to divine on that, because that person has the ability to make or break your foundation. You're only as strong as the people that you surround yourself with. I joke all the time with people when they're like, I want you to be my mentor and my godparent. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because my thing is not to be your best friend. My thing is let's share this knowledge and help you grow. We can have fun and play, but spirit is not playtime to me. It's serious to me, and not everybody is should be accessible to my energy or my knowledge. I don't want that. I don't need 15 people following me. I don't even want it. Somebody told me that I'll have 3 god kids, and I'm cool with that. I didn't want none. I didn't. I'm be honest about it. I don't want none. I don't want somebody to follow me. Because first of all, I don't have the patience for bitch assness. I don't want no whiners. I don't want to see nobody on Facebook having no breakdown every time shit don't go their way, because I'm going to call you out. Papa, I remember I posted some stuff about a skull, and it was not right. And shit, I don't think the post was up even 3 minutes, and he called me. Take that shit down. Take that shit down. That shit make you look stupid, and because I'm teaching you, it make me look stupid. And I was like, all right. Okay. But that's what a godparent is. Godparent, you don't go drinking with them. You don't go partying with them. I'm not going to say you don't have your moments. But my responsibility, should I take on godchildren, is to make sure that you make the right connection with the spirit and what spirit wants you to do. And I think a lot of times, if you bring people in that aren't yours, it doesn't mean that they're not supposed to be initiated. It just means that they're not for you. You're not the godparent for them. And you can't look at the money. A lot of people initiate people because of the money. 10,000 here, 10,000 there, 10,000 everywhere. But then you end up with a bunch of chaos. And first of all, in most of the houses, I don't even understand how you can be a bougie house. You literally, if you're having fets out in the woods and dirt and mud. I mean, shit, you rolling around. If you get mounted, you kissing dirt. I mean, I don't have dirt all in my ears and that I don't even know how the fuck it got there. But I look at some of the houses online that are like beautiful and pristine, and you know, these mambos look incredible. There's elegance to them. And I'm like, wow, but I'm not on that level yet. Maybe I haven't reached that thing. I'm not gonna knock them, but I think the real spirit is nitty gritty. I don't care how you pretty it up. The real spirit connection is nitty gritty. If you can't get your hands dirty, what the fuck you doing? You can't, I mean, you know, I remember when I was in Haiti, I like my lips. I like my lipsticks. And I can go without makeup. I don't have no problem going without makeup because I don't wear that much foundation, but I like my lips. That's my stuff. So I got up one morning, and I can't remember, was it before we went, I think it was before we went into the JVO, before the initiator started, and I had on my lips or whatever, and this Mambo was like, that's how they look at you in Haiti. Even if they speak English, they look at you like you stink. She said, oh, you look pretty today. You gonna be pretty all day? And I was like, I'm not gonna disrespect. And I just kind of smiled or whatever. And she was like, that woman had me out there scrubbing some laundry in the heat, in the clothes. I had lipstick all over my face. I had lipstick. I went in there. First of all, the shower is a bucket. You take a bucket with some water and you wash off in Haiti. We don't do the hotel Haiti. We do the real Haiti. And I wasn't prepared for that. I thought I was gonna put, my eyeliner on and put my lips on. I had that shit all over my face. I didn't wear makeup the rest of the time I was there.
Oh God, see.
But I had to learn. I had to learn what was real.
It's so messed up. My spirits are laughing at me right now. They're like, you sure you want to go through that? And I'm like, no, I think about it. If I want makeup on.
You're going to be broke down. After day 2, you're going to be like, makeup? What makeup? You're going to be like, do I even want to put a bra on today? You're just going to be so broke down.
I'm trying to put my boobs in a ponytail, but like, just squish them together, just roll out. See how
sweat gonna pour off of them anyway. You're gonna be so delirious. You ain't gonna give a fuck. By the time you get on the plane to come back to Texas or wherever you're coming to, you're gonna be like. When I got on the plane coming back, and I had to wear white because you couldn't wear any dark colors. People, it's so crazy. They knew I was a Mambo. I didn't have to announce it or say anything, and they knew coming through, and it could have been the whites. And I remember I got on the plane, and I just wanted to sleep because first of all, I was so constipated in Haiti, I thought I was going to explode. I was like, please, Lord Jesus, let me just get somewhere where I can shit. I was miserable. I was tired. And I got on the plane and this man was talking to me and he goes, Mambo, are you okay? And it kind of startled me because I was like, oh, that was the first time somebody called me Mambo. And I was like, yeah, I looked like I was like 5 months pregnant. I was like, yeah, my stomach or whatever. He goes, you just need a good shit. And I was like, yeah, but I was broke down. And I think I slept the rest of the way home. I was broke down. It's something that you earn. It really is.
Oh my God.
Speaking of airplanes.
Oh, you gotta go. You have to catch an airplane.
Oh, Jazz went and got him.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah, I guess Jazz was like, she came home and she's like, I got it.
Okay.
Oh.
I just didn't want you missing out.
Who's coming in?
My brother-in-law, my ex-husband's brother.
Oh.
Yeah, he invited himself to stay tonight.
Voodoo's gonna get him.
Oh yeah, he is. Voodoo and Yoda gonna get him.
Oh Lord, that's gonna be funny. The stories on that will be good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm excited that we're able to talk to you today about it. Because that means next week is Lynna, too.
Yes. But I'm glad. I mean, I'm excited about the Collegium.
It's too late. Everybody saw you, Dad. You might as well just, what are you doing?
You're so extra. Dad.
Is that your dad? Hey.
He's like all creeping out. Go ahead, Shishi. You want to go ahead and wrap things up? We can wrap things up.
All right. So, oh my God, my dad. He threw me off. So next week, that means we talk to Lynna.
Yes.
And I still need to get you both on the Collegium page so we get that going so it's there and people can see. But I'm excited about like all of it. I am very excited. And I guess after Lynna, then we'll get the rest of the teachers on the Conjure crew as well.
Yes.
And that'll be good. That'll be good because everybody will see us all together. And any thought as the mini courses should be coming what, next month? Either you say mid-month or next month.
Yeah, we're debating on mid-September or beginning of end of September, beginning of October. So, I mean, I guess we'll have to see when everybody votes, like, because I want to see, because everybody has a schedule. So I don't want to, I know Alyssa's moving, I'm moving. I don't want anyone to be in a position in which it seems like it's more stressful for them at that time. So I'm trying to get everybody's schedule. But yes, mini courses. Like I said, 5 to 7 minutes, which is not very long at all, which is great.
Yo, colorful.
I mean, really, 7 minutes to kind of show something is good. It's a taste. It's a taste, and then you kind of know, if it's something that you're interested in. And I think a lot of people will be. I'm excited too. I think you've done a very good job with bringing a very eclectic group of people together that are all very passionate about what they do. And people are, I hear some people are like, well, y'all are young or whatever. Here's the thing. Papa always tells me don't put spirit in a box because spirit is limitless. And I always say the same thing about people. Don't put people in a box when it comes to knowledge because you got old souls, you got old knowledge and things that are passed down. I think the most important thing is that when you look for a mentor or a teacher, you connect with people that really, like Shishi said, enjoy what they do. And I think she's done such a really great job of bringing in the right group of people that really love it, really love it. If you've ever dealt with Sherwin and heard him pray and talk about his deities and conjure church or whatever, that is his thing. Alyssa is certified in goddamn everything. I think she can even deliver a baby.
I know. I'm like,
my money is on it that she can. I'm pretty sure she might not be talking about it right now, but I'm pretty sure she could. But I think, look at there. See, I knew it. I knew it.
Like, yeah, that's on my resume too. Delivered baby.
So it's gonna be really, really great, and I'm just proud of you. I'm so excited that your vision is coming and taking place because as it should. You put a lot of work into it, and like you were saying, people don't realize that Shishi, like I said, we literally started together. Mm-hmm. And there's so much that she's accomplished thus far that doesn't even, I've read her cards, it's just a tip. She hasn't even reached the full potential, and I think you're gonna see her grow, and you're gonna see this vision get bigger. So you guys, if you can't, Voodoo, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, I just bought these shades from goddamn IKEA, $60, and he just literally went over there and clawed the shit and unraveled it.
What type of shades did you get that he could do that?
Oh shit. Like the natural shades.
Ooh.
So he must have hit it right or something, because I mean the whole thing just, as soon as he clawed it, it just traveled up. It's the thread. This damn cat. He don't mess my mojo up. Anyway, I'm gonna just say I love you. I love you. I'm about to have a meltdown on the cat, and I don't want that caught on camera.
You need to clip his nails.
Girl, I tried to give that damn cat a bath. And he clawed the shit out of my chest. He came out that water and attached, and we was in here doing this.
No, so first, I mean, I get it, because Sophie's deadly, so you definitely need someone to help. So you have to hold him by his scruff. Have Jazz hold him by his scruff and clip the nails real fast. Then you can give him a bath after you clip the nails.
Oh, you know what? I need to bring Taylor over. She's got clippers. She'll do it.
We have clippers too, though.
You just gotta dodge a little.
Maybe I need Taylor to hold him at the scruff, because Jazz iffy. Jazz might do me in. He starts like Jazz don't fuck me. It'd be over. So yeah, we gotta cut his claws, because he fixing to get put outside. He already know it. He went lay down somewhere.
No, clip his nails and then bathe him.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. But enjoy your vacation. Hey, you popping on tomorrow? You gonna be available tomorrow?
I should be.
Okay. All right. Just let me know. Just let me know.
It should be good for tomorrow because what? It's like 8 o'clock my time that we're doing it.
Yeah, it should be. That would be what, 7?
7 your time? Is that what it is?
Well, I can start it later. Yeah, I can start it later.
You just tell me. I don't know what time you start exactly because I come in, but I don't ever pay attention. Like I get the notification. I never pay attention to the time.
Normally I start at 6, which would be 7 your time.
So 6, 7 my time. Okay.
But I got the brother-in-law, so I'll message you because I might have to cook or take him out to eat or whatever, and I may be starting later. So we'll touch base tomorrow. But bye everybody. I love you guys. Be safe.
Thank you, Lynna.
Thank you all for watching and joining in. If you've not already signed up, go ahead and sign up at www.conjurecrew.com. Speaking of the Collegium, go over, like the Facebook page. The link will be in the description box below. If you like what you see, send a message, get signed up. We'd love to have you.
Awesome.
All right, see you guys later.
See you later. Bye, guys.